Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to return to Omnipollo from Stockholm here in Sweden, and this is a series of beers that I've really quite enjoyed. This is one that they did in collaboration with Buxton Brewery from Derbyshire in England, of course. So we're going to return to the ice cream series today, and we're doing the green one, which is the original Rocky Road ice cream. Now, like the Texas Pecan, which was the red one, this one is an Imperial Porter that comes in at 10% ABV. So this one's described as being a marshmallow porter brewed with cocoa nibs and lactose sugar, and like the other one, this guy got a 99 overall on Rate Beer. It's in the top 50 Imperial Porters ever brewed, and it was a 95 I think overall that it got in the style, so it should be a really nice beer. We know that Omnipollo do some really nice things, and of course Buxton Brewery do some really nice beers as well, but I do need to do a few more dedicated reviews to them at some point in the future, because I haven't tried too many of their beers, and most of them have been collaborations with either Omnipollo, and I think there was one with Lervig as well, so you will see me review some more Buxton beers in the fairly near future. But I hope you guys enjoy my take on this one, and yeah, so as always with my beer reviews then, I'll do a little bit of history for you. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery websites, link to my other reviews that I've done both from Omnipollo and from Buxton Brewery. No doubt I will add some more in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever it is you're interested in. There are playlists there for beers from different countries, so there is one for the English beers and the Swedish beers that I've reviewed for you. Both of them of course are being constantly added to, and as always please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys, and the support that you give the channel is hugely appreciated, so don't hesitate to get in touch through Facebook, Twitter, whatever it is you want. It's always great to hear from you guys. So anyway, we'll start off with Omnipollo then. So Omnipollo was founded back in 2011 by Henrik Fenty, who was a long-time homebrewer, and Carl Grandin, who is a clothing designer. So the two met one day and they started talking about how insular the craft beer scene was in Sweden and the rest of the world. So they decided they wanted to start their own brewery and kind of try to reinvigorate the beer scene in Sweden from both a kind of stylistic and from a gastronomic point of view. So for them, they said that the sort of partnership between a clothing designer and a home brewer was really logical. So the name Omnipollo is derived from omnipotent chicken, omnipotent of course, and then pollo is Spanish for chicken. But these guys are a gypsy brewer, so they have no brewery of their own, and rather they rent out capacity at various other places. They brew most of their beers either at Duyes, which is down near Gothenburg in Sweden, and also quite a few of them at Buxton in England as well. I think they brew a few others maybe in Belgium and stuff like this at places like the Profbrouwerij near Ghent. So they have got a few different facilities that they use, but they are considered a Swedish company of course, and they're exporting to I think around 30 countries these days, and they're constantly expanding. But they also have their home base as such is Stockholm. They have the Omnipollo's hat in the city, which is a collaboration with Pizza Hut. They've got really good pizza there apparently, and you can find a lot of the Omnipollo beers on tap as well, and they currently have something like 40 or 50 different types of beers that they do. So as I say, check out the brewery website in the description below and you can see all the different things that they do. Omnipollo of course are particularly famous for having these really kind of random flavoured imperial stouts, and I think like the things like Anagram, Outside the Lines, and all of these other things, the Yellow Belly, all of these sorts of things. They like to add natural flavourings to the beers as far as I can tell, and it gives them a really quite interesting flavour. They've got a really good base recipe for both Imperial Porters and for Imperial Stouts. So if you love big sweet stouts and Imperial Porters, this is a brewery that you definitely want to check out. But anyway, on to Buxton Brewery then. So as I've told you before, Buxton Brewery are based in Buxton, which is a spa town in Derbyshire in England, and this brewery was founded by Jeff Quinn back in 2010, and they only have a staff of around 5 people, so they are quite a small operation for the amount of beer that they produce. So the local area is known as the Peak District, and it's famed for its water, which has been revered since Roman times. The Romans actually nicknamed the town the Aqua Arnamitea, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. My Latin isn't so good, I did Italian at school, but this translates to the waters of Goddess Spring, and most of their beers are named after local geographical and geological features around the Buxton area. The tower that they normally have on their labels is actually called Solomon's Temple, tempo or Grinlow tower, and this was actually a folly tower that was built simply for decoration. But the Buxton beers have won many accolades, and the brewery's been consistently ranked in the world's top 100 breweries by Rate Beer. At full capacity they can produce over 60,000 litres of beer per month, and their beers are now exported to 20 or 30 different countries worldwide. This is another brewery who are doing very, very well, and they're probably one of the best craft breweries in England actually, so if you want to try some English craft beer, then Buxton Brewery are a very good place to start. So we've got two very good breweries involved in this beer, so this will be a really good one, and I do recommend that you check out this ice cream series, and hopefully I can review the ice cream pale for you at some point in the future, because that should be a really interesting beer. So like I told you, this one is a 10% Imperial Porter. It's described as being an Imperial Marshmallow Porter, of course, and it's brewed with cocoa nibs and lactose sugar. So I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork. You can see it is that kind of ice cream thing just walking around. You can see a little bit about the beer on the back, but very nicely presented, and as is the case with pretty much all the Omnipollo beers, this one it just has a plain bottle cap, a nice purple one this time. So without further ado then, let's get this guy out and we'll get on with the tasting. So yeah, nice smoky opening then. I should probably point out on this video as well, if you're watching in Sweden, this beer became available through the Systembolaget Små Partiers on the 5th of May, but probably most of you that are watching the video from Sweden will know that, and the beer of course is more readily available throughout the rest of the world, apart from probably Norway, Finland and Iceland and things like that, where they also have nationalised beer shops, or alcohol shops I should say. But yeah, as you would expect from this beer, it's poured a nice dark ebony rosewood colour. If I hold it up to the light, it does have a little bit of a ruby edge to it, but maybe it's more of a kind of chestnutty edge that the beer has. There's a solid half finger of a frothy, dark beige tan head to this one. There's some big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, but quite a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of the head there. And I'll tell you something, you really can smell these nice kind of chocolatey and marshmallow notes coming out of this one. Like I say, as far as I know, Omnipollo like to add natural flavours to their beers. They've got a base recipe that they use, then they blend in these natural flavours to give you these kind of cakey sort of things. So it's a really interesting series, this one, and it is a kind of interesting aspect to brewing as well. And there are some people who kind of say, oh, it's not pure brewing and stuff, but if the beer tastes good, if they can make good beers, which they do by the way, who really cares? That's my opinion on it anyway. But yeah, let's have a closer look at the aroma and see how we get on. That's interesting, this one. This one to me comes across as really earthy. There's a big earthy note to this one, and there's a good bit of roasted black malt as well, but that's the thing that's striking me about this, is that the beer, especially when you sugar it up, is very, very earthy. That's really unusual. It's nowhere near as sweet as some of the other ones that I've come across from the brewery before. This one should be quite interesting, of course, then. So yeah, you've got a good bit of chocolate in this one, but like I say, the roasty earthiness to this one is really what's underpinning it. You can pick up a good bit of black malt in there, earthy hops like I was saying. Good bit of chocolate. I can pick up some of the marshmallows, and there's a good bit of toasted kind of brown sugar in there. I'm not picking up too much of the sort of milky vanilla lactosey thing that I had from the Texas pecan, which is quite interesting. Like I say, the real underlying point of this beer is that it's a big roasty sort of earthy thing. I wasn't expecting that from the Rocky Road, to be honest with you. But then again, I've not had Rocky Road ice cream since the last time I was in America, which was like 8 years ago or something like that. I don't think I've had Rocky Road cake either for a long time. I'm not such a big cake person myself, but I do like the beers that taste like cakes. But yeah, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of this one. As I always say, the aroma that you get from beers and whiskies and sake and things, that's half the experience. Just take a little bit of time to mull it over before you actually taste the beer. But this aroma, this one in particular, take a few whiffs of it, because it really does seem to mellow out. That kind of roasted, earthy thing that I was noticing, it comes out as being quite brash initially, but then it just mellows out as you get more and more used to the beer actually. So just take a little bit of time and mull this one over, and particularly give it a little bit of a longer time, because it does seem to mellow out a little bit as the air gets into the beer. But yeah, it smells nice, and it's one of the more interesting aromas, one of the more unusual ones I've come across from this ice cream series so far. But without further ado then, let's get stuck into this beer. So this one is the original Rocky Road ice cream, a collaboration brew between Omnipollo from Stockholm here in Sweden and Buxton Brewery from Buxton in Derbyshire in England. Slangen Ska. That's a nice beer. The question is going to be whether I prefer this one or the Texas Pecan. This one has a completely different feel to it, I think. Yeah, this is really interesting. This one to me is more like a... This is more like a sort of straight up Imperial Porter. You know, the other one, the Texas Pecan, you can tell that there's been some sort of natural flavouring added to that just because of how strong the nutty character is. Whenever you add nuts to a brew, the flavours don't come out as strongly as you would get in the other Texas Pecan. So I'm pretty sure there is a natural flavouring added to the other one. But this one to me is more like a straight up kind of Imperial Stout or Imperial Porter. The mouthfeel on this one is somewhere in between. As I've told you before, the key difference between the Porter and the Stout really is what type of yeast they use. A lot of Porters tend to use like a lager yeast, and because of that they have a lighter mouthfeel. But this one to me feels a little bit thicker, and the carbonation is a little bit smoother than the Texas Pecan was. Yeah, this one's definitely more oily in the mouthfeel. But I like this one, I really do like how this comes across. But it does feel a little bit more like a kind of straight up Imperial Porter than the Texas Pecan did. But I like this. This is another really quite good beer. If you get the chance to try either of these two, the Texas Pecan or the Rocky Road, I recommend that you do, because they're both very good within their own right. Yeah, I think if you have to pick one of the two, probably it just depends very much on whether you like a slightly more roasted one, or whether you like whether you like a more sweet one, I guess you would say. The Texas Pecan is definitely a little bit sweeter than this. This one's more like a straight up Imperial Porter, like I've said a couple of times, but it's really good. But as I always say, take a few sips and let the beer sugar around your palate, just so you can let your whole mouth adjust before you start analysing the flavour too much. But this is another really good beer. So yeah, with this one then, you've got a little bit of roasted black malt just kind of underpinning the beer, but on top of that, I'm picking up a kind of light, you can really feel that sort of almost pale malty quality, but it's a kind of roasted, almost brown bready malt. There's a good bit of brown sugar in this one. You can pick up a little bit of that toasted, caramelly sort of thing. I'm not sure if it's darker, like treacle or molasses as the Americans would call it, but it's definitely got a nice kind of toasty brown sugar element to it. There's a lot of chocolate in this one as well, but as the flavour progresses, it's doing the same. As you move further into the aftertaste, it's doing the same as the Texas Pecan. Those roasted, kind of bitter, malty elements are starting to come out of this one a little bit more, but this is a lovely, lovely beer. Make no mistake about that. You can taste the sort of marshmallow notes in this one as well. They're coming out just as you move. It kind of follows the edge of your tongue a little bit. It's just a little bit inside the edge of your tongue. You can feel that kind of marshmallow character to this one. The cocoa character isn't too oily in this one either. I should point that out. The chocolate comes across as being a little bit more darker, and it kind of fades in a little bit to the roasted elements that the beer has. This one to me, and that's what makes me say it, it comes across as more of a straight up Imperial Porter. But yeah, the aroma's still sticking with it. I can smell it when I'm drinking it. That earthy, kind of roasted thing, and it's almost a little bit herbal as well. It's almost got a little bit of a vegetal or kind of herbal note to the aroma as well. You can really pick that up in the aroma of this one. But this beer, definitely more of a straight up Imperial Porter than some of the other things that they produce, of course. There's less of the natural flavours coming out of this one. Or sorry, less of the flavour additives coming out of this one, I would say. But it's nice. There's a bit more hoppy character to this one. On the back corners of the palate, there's a good bit of earthy hop there. It kind of smooths out as you come further forward. It's a little bitter on the front corner of your palate, and then it smooths out again as you go around the front curve there. It's got a little bit of grassiness around the front curve. I suspect that there's some Fugel hops in here just because of the way that it comes out, or maybe some East Kent Goldings or something like that. It's maybe not quite got the ashiness that you'd expect from Fugels, but definitely I think there's English hops in here, and when it's Buxton Brewery that are involved as well, then that probably is the case. But yeah, I do like how this one comes across. You get more of the marshmallows as your palate adjusts to this beer as well. If you just go behind the very front curve of your palate, there's a nice little oily bubble there, which I always describe. That's where you're getting the fruity esters. To me, this one comes across, it's got a little bit of figgy character to it. It's got a little bit of that light, juicy sort of figgy note. But then you've got some of the sharper raisin elements coming out of the beer as well, which is really nice. But just be aware with this one, in comparison to some of the other things you're going to find from Omnipollo, this guy is a little bit more like a straight up imperial porter than you know, it just doesn't have the same sort of feel to it that the likes of Anagram and all of these kind of beers do. But that said, it's a very solid beer nonetheless. It's more, this is probably a little bit more of the kind of Buxton influence coming out, that sort of straight up style of brewing. But I like what they've done with this one, and the rating that it has on Rate Beer, I think it deserves it. The aroma for me is a little bit strange. But that's a kind of side point. The main point is whether the beer tastes good or not, and it certainly does that. It's a really nice beer, this. So if you want to compare this to the Texas Pecan, if you enjoy the sweeter side of things, go for the Texas Pecan. But if you like the more roasted, kind of straight up imperial porter side of things, go for the Rocky Road. I think that's a fair comparison between these two beers. But overall, another really nice beer. In terms of the mouthfeel of this one, I would say this guy is mid-bodied. It's a little bit heavier than Texas Pecan, right enough. The carbonation is quite smooth on this. It's got more of an oily mouthfeel. There's a little bit of creaminess in there as well. The malt base is a little bit more roasted. There is a bit of sweetness, but it does lean more towards that kind of roasted side of things. The hops have got a little bit of bitterness as well. It's quite bitter in the back corners of the palate, but it smooths out as you come further forward, like I said, and there's just a little bit of red fruity sharpness to this beer as well. But overall, it's a really quite nice beer, and I do recommend you take a look at this one if you get the chance. So yeah, if you get the chance to try any of these ice cream series beers from Omnipollo, if you like a sharp sour beer, go for the lemon meringue pie. If you like a nice kind of sweet imperial porter, imperial stout kind of thing, go for the Texas Pecan. But if you enjoy a straight up, more roasted imperial porter, then try this one. I still need to try the ice cream pale, of course, but hopefully I can do that for you at some point in the near future. But this series is a really interesting one, and that's what Omnipollo are known for, of course. Buxton Brewery are a bit more of a kind of straight up brewery in my experience, but they do some really good beers as well. So yeah, and make sure you check out both breweries if you get the chance. If you have tried this beer for yourself, let me know your own thoughts on it in the comment section below. Let me know what your own thoughts are on this series and what your favourite ones in the series are, and do let me know what you think about comparing the Texas Pecan and the Rocky Road. But it's been really cool to review this one for you on the channel. I hope you've enjoyed my review. Thanks for watching, and until the next time, it's Slangy just now. Make sure you check out the ice cream series from Omnipollo in Sweden and Buxton Brewery in Derbyshire in England. Slangy just now, and I'll catch you guys very soon with more reviews. Cheers.